Right. Thank you so much. Very good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome you to the 2 days national level FDP on IPR, Entrepreneurship Development and Startups by IoT Academy, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Yes. So speaking about this topic, say whether you are a budding entrepreneur, maybe with some kind of game-changing idea, or you're just simply curious about this dynamic field. So we shall explore this journey of entrepreneurship development and startups for the next 1 hour. Yes. Entrepreneurship. Can somebody tell me what does this mean? What is entrepreneurship? Who is an entrepreneur? You can just unmute yourselves. You can answer. Who is an entrepreneur? What is the process of what is this particular word entrepreneurship? What is your understanding? What is entrepreneurship? Whom do we call as an entrepreneur? Can anybody answer? Okay, I see that many participants are still joining. No problem. So, entrepreneurship is nothing but the process of identifying, creating, and also seizing the opportunities, right? Mainly to develop innovations, and you are adding some value to our society. So, entrepreneurs are the individuals who drive this process. Often, how do they do? They'll be establishing new businesses or ventures. So, let us see what are the key aspects of entrepreneurship. First and foremost, as I told you, innovation comes as the first point. So, entrepreneurship often involves introducing some kind of novel products, new services, or say some kind of new processes. And these new things, whatever we have introduced or an entrepreneur has introduced, it must be addressing the unmet needs, or say it must be solving the existing problems in a novel way. So this innovation, it can take various forms. Maybe it could be the technological advancements or your business model innovation or any kind of say creative approaches to the market segmentation. Then speaking of risk taking, entrepreneurs are willing to take the calculated risks, whether it is investing in say personal savings or seeking funding from various sources like investors or pursuing some kind of unconventional ideas. So risk taking, it is inherent in the process of entrepreneurship. And why do I say this? Because ventures or the businesses, they often face uncertainty, and there is a potential that anybody might face something called failure. So risk taking is very very important, and entrepreneurs must be willing to take the calculated risks. Opportunity recognition. See, successful entrepreneurs, they have a keen ability to identify the opportunities. What is the opportunity? How can I seize? How can I grab an opportunity in the market? Or what are the gaps in the existing offerings? If you have that entrepreneurial mindset, you can immediately spot those emerging trends. You can anticipate the future demands, or even you can recognize what are the untapped niche, right? And where others fail is they actually, other entrepreneurs, they might overlook this concept. They might not be able to spot such kind of sparks. That is the difference between a successful entrepreneur and a entrepreneur who faces many kind of problems or failures. Then speaking about resource mobilization. See, entrepreneurship, it requires effectively we have to mobilize the resources. First and foremost, we need the financial capital. Then obviously we need the human capital and all other physical assets, right? Then only as an entrepreneur, you can bring your ideas to execution. So as I told you, this might involve you must be securing funding from the investors. You must be assembling your talented team, or you must be in a position to leverage the networks and partnerships. That's how you mobilize all your resources. Persistence and resilience. See, building a successful venture, it often involves overcoming the obstacles. We have to overcome those setbacks. Each and every one, at one point or the other, we will be facing one or the other failures, isn't it? So we must be in a position to overcome all such kind of challenges, risks, setbacks, failures along the way. As entrepreneurs, you must be demonstrating resilience. There must be adaptability, and you must be willing to learn from the mistakes. Then only you can persevere, and also ultimately will be succeeding. Value creation. So at its core, entrepreneurship is about creating value. Yes, next question is for whom? For the customers, for all the stakeholders, right? And the society as a whole. This value, it can be economic, it can be social, or even it can be environmental in nature. And it may encompass many factors, say like you will be creating jobs for many. There is innovation, as I told you, and we also will be seeing there is development in our community. So, by nurturing an entrepreneurial mindset and also supporting the aspiring entrepreneurs, what societies can do, they can unlock new sources of creativity. They can see there is prosperity, lots and lots of progress can be seen. Okay, yes. So, what are startups? Participants, you can even type it in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourselves and answer. What are startups? Usually we'll be using this word startups, isn't it? What is this? Hope I am audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can just unmute yourselves. Whatever are your thoughts, insights, you can definitely share with me. You can even type it in the chat box. I know it's a very difficult afternoon session, but it will just last for 1 more hour. That's it. I want you to be interactive. So can somebody tell me, can you attempt what to answer what are startups? Okay, no problem. The slide itself tells you they are nothing but the newly established, or even we can call them as the young companies or businesses, especially which are at their early stages of development. Often it is founded by the entrepreneurs, maybe who have the innovative ideas or solutions to address the market needs or problems. So these are the key characteristics of startups. Yes, high growth potential. Startups are designed to scale rapidly. They aim for substantial growth in a relatively short period. And the startups, they seek to say capture market share and expand their operations very quickly. And as I told you, startups also operate in an environment of uncertainty and risk. As they navigate market dynamics, competition, as well as they'll be seeing that the customer preferences will be evolving, it will be changing day by day. So there is uncertainty in any kind of business, right? You take up, there'll be definitely risk. So they often face challenges, especially something like limited resources. There'll be constraints on the funding, and we also observe there is market volatility, right? Then, speaking of the entrepreneurial culture, startups typically embody an entrepreneurial spirit, that mindset. So that is characterized by creativity. We observe there is agility and also a willingness from an entrepreneur to experiment. So founders, employees are encouraged to take risks. As I told you in the previous slide, when speaking about the entrepreneurs have to learn from their failures and they have to quickly adapt to all the sort of changing circumstances. Focus on disruption. So many startups they seek to interrupt those traditional industries or those traditional markets. They try to introduce the innovative solutions. Thereby, they are challenging the existing norms and incumbents as well. Overall, I would like to say startups play a crucial role in driving the economic growth, in fostering the innovation, as well as creating new opportunities in various industries and sectors. Right? I hope by now we all have understood that entrepreneurship development and startups are something like two sides of the same coin, right? Each of them playing a crucial role in others' success. So, entrepreneurship development it fosters startups. How? Providing education and training, or say it provides it offers mentorship, networking, or cultivating a supportive ecosystem, and even developing that entrepreneurial mindsets. Similarly, startups drive the entrepreneurship development, maybe by showcasing the success stories or inspiring others to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams. And also it contributes to the research and innovation. As we already discussed, it creates new jobs, opportunities. It provides learning platforms for our future generations. Hope we are clear so far. Yes, the entrepreneurial startup ecosystem. So this is nothing but what is this ecosystem of entrepreneurship and startup? Say we can, yeah, this is a dynamic and interconnected network of whom, what all does it consist? Of the individuals, organizations, resources, and even the institutions, which all will collectively support the creation, the growth, and the success of the startups as well as the entrepreneurial ventures. So this ecosystem, it encompasses a wide range of components, and all these components will be working mainly to promote innovation, to drive the economic growth, and also it will be creating the value. Now, what are the vital elements here? First and foremost, we have entrepreneurs. They are the heart of our ecosystem. Ecosystem is nothing but that community, that domain, right? And they are the individuals who identify opportunities, as we discussed in slide number 3. They take risks and they also create new businesses or ventures mainly to capitalize on those opportunities, right? Then we have the support organizations. So support organizations means, say for example, we have incubators. So what are these incubators? They are the organizations, right, or the programs that support the development and growth of the early stage startups. How do they support these organizations or such kind of programs? They provide resources, they provide mentorship, how you must be starting your business, how you should scale it up. Then also the workspace they'll be providing to help the startups. Then only you'll be in a position to refine your business ideas. You can develop your products or services, and you can establish your business models with the help of incubators. Then under support organizations, we also have accelerators. So they are nothing but the initiatives or even the programs that speed up the growth of startups. How do they do this? The accelerators, they provide intense training. They also provide mentorship opportunities. And they try to give the connections to the investors. So thereby they are helping the startups to grow faster and also become successful more quickly. Then we have co-working spaces. As the name tells you, they are nothing but the shared office space, right? Where people from different companies they'll be working together. Now, these spaces, co-working spaces, they offer flexible and affordable workspace solutions for your startups. Not only for the startups, even the freelancers, the remote workers, or even any sort of small businesses, they can go for this co-working spaces, because they'll be providing you the amenities, something like desks, the meeting rooms, high speed internet, the communal areas. And with all this, you'll be nurturing the collaboration, you have the networking opportunities, you can have the community building amongst the members. And then under the support organizations, we also have entrepreneurship centers. So they also provide various forms of supports to the startups. Then investors are very, very important. It may be the venture capitalists, angel investors, or any other type of investors. They play a crucial role in providing funding to your startups. At different stages of growth, we have different kinds of investors. So I'll be explaining about this after a slide or two. And they'll be providing the capital, maybe sometimes in exchange for equity or any other forms of ownership in your company. Then the educational institutions, universities, colleges, the research institutions, they contribute to the ecosystem. They'll be offering the entrepreneurship education. Uh, they try to conduct the research on this. They'll be fostering the innovation and collaboration, especially between the academia and the industry. Then the government policies, regulations, and initiatives, they can have a significant impact on your startup arena. So the supportive policies, something like the tax incentives, the grants, the regulatory reforms, all these will be encouraging your entrepreneurship decisions and your innovation. Industry partnerships. See, collaboration with established companies, industry associations, or say the corporate innovation programs. All these will be providing your startups with the access to resources. Mainly, we want resources, we need expertise, we need the distribution channels, we need to know the marketing opportunities. So, definitely, industry partnerships will be helping you. Then, the legal, accounting, or marketing and other professional service providers, they'll be catering the specific needs of your startups. They'll be offering you the guidance, advice, or support in various areas of your business operations. Networking and community. See, entrepreneurial communities or the informal gatherings, meetups, some kind of events related to this. And even we have many online forums. All this will be facilitating the networking and knowledge sharing. And you can collaborate among other entrepreneurs who have a similar mindset as yours. You can be collaborating with the investors, you can find out your mentors, and you can even collaborate with the all other stakeholders. So that is the power of networking. Culture of innovation. A supportive culture which celebrates creativity, risk taking is also a part of startups, right? And also it is a part of your entrepreneurial journey. And experimentation is essential mainly to blossom your entrepreneurship. So communities which all will be embracing diversity, inclusivity, and also which has a tolerance for failure, that particular society, that particular community, they can help you to cultivate an environment which is conducive to innovation, as well as it will be adding to the success of your startup. So, by nurturing and strengthening all these components, entrepreneurial and startup ecosystems, they can create a fertile environment for the startups to thrive. So, what is the startup journey from ideation to impact? See, the journey of startup, it is an you can call it as a exhilarating and challenging process, right? Because it will be taking an idea from conception to making a meaningful impact in the world. Now, what are the crucial stages in the startup journey? Are we clear so far? Are we clear so far? Yes, madam, Dr. Shanti, madam. I'll clear all your doubts at the end of the session. Hope that's fine. Yes. The journey typically begins with ideation. So there, entrepreneurs, they generate and refine their business ideas. So that's why there is a name called ideation. This particular stage, it involves identifying the market needs. You'll be exploring what are the potential solutions, and you'll be brainstorming what are the innovative concepts which has the potential to address those particular needs effectively. Once that particular idea of yours it has been developed, then the next step is to validate its feasibility as well as to look whether it has some demand in the market or not. Entrepreneurs, they conduct market research. They gather feedback from the potential customers, and they'll also be testing the prototypes. We call it as minimum viable products, MVPs, minimum viable products. So what does this mean, testing the prototypes? Now it is nothing but it is the process of evaluating as well as assessing a basic version of your model or a preliminary version, the model of your product or service, right? We will be evaluating it, the basic version of your model. Mainly, we will be gathering the feedback, right? We will be identifying the potential issues, and also we will be validating the assumptions. And before we bring them on a full scale production or development, we try to refine that concept. That is called testing the prototype, right? Then, with the validation, once this process is complete, this step is complete, entrepreneurs, they move forward to launch their startup officially. So this involves setting up the necessary legal and operational structures, right? Then securing funding if at all it is needed, and also preparing yourselves for the market entry. Now the launch marks the beginning of your startup's journey as a fully operational business. Next, after the launch, startups will focus on scaling their operations and also growing their customer base. Now, this stage often involves refining the product or your service and also expanding into new markets and implementing the marketing as well as your sales strategies so that you can drive growth. As I told you, startups may also seek additional funding to support your expansion efforts. Then the next stage is traction. See, as the startup gains momentum and also it achieves significant milestones such as increasing revenue or expanding market share or say securing strategic partnerships, now it will be entering the traction phase. So traction is nothing but a critical indicator of your startup's viability and what is the potential for your startup for the long term success. It tells you. Now, with the traction established, startups shift their focus to scaling their business model as well as their operations. Now, this involves optimizing the processes or say building the scalable infrastructure and expanding mainly your team to support the your growth. So, startups may also explore new revenue streams or business opportunities to fuel further expansion as well. Then, ultimately, the goal of the startup journey is to create a meaningful impact in the world, as we discussed in the previous slide. So, what is this impact? It takes various forms. Maybe you're trying to solve the pressing societal problems, or you're trying to improve people's lives, or you're trying to disrupt the industries with your innovative solutions, right? Startups that succeed in making a positive impact, they become leaders in their respective fields and they'll just leave a lasting legacy. Okay. So yeah, one of the powerful example of the startup journey is the story of Airbnb. I guess most of you know about this. Let us discuss about this in all these seven stages. Okay. Ideation. So way back in 2007, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, they are the two designers who were living in San Francisco. Actually, they were struggling to pay their rent. One day, what happened? They just noticed that the hotels in their city, they were fully booked due to a upcoming design conference. So many attendees, there were no accommodation options to them. Now, this inspired these two people to create a solution. They thought of renting out air mattresses in their apartment, and they also wanted to provide breakfast to all the attendees of the conference. Thus, they started giving birth to the idea of Airbnb, air, bed, and breakfast. Okay. Next step is validation. So Chesky and Gebbia, what they did, they created a simple website, okay, to advertise their idea, and they wanted to attract the guests. Initially, they received free bookings for the air mattresses and validating the demand for alternative accommodation options. Now, recognizing the potential of their concept, what they did, they enlisted with the help of a software engineer. They wanted to further develop the platform. Now, coming to launch. In 2008, Airbnb, they officially launched as a platform connecting the hosts with travelers who will be seeking unique and affordable, accommodation options. Now, the founders, they leveraged their design background. They wanted to create a user-friendly website, and they tried to utilize the innovative marketing strategies. So mainly they wanted to attract the users. Then, despite facing the initial challenges, not only challenges, they had skepticism. So Airbnb, it experienced a rapid growth because more hosts, more travelers joined their platform. Now, I'm speaking about the fourth stage growth. The company focused on expanding its presence in key markets. They also wanted to refine their user experience, and they wanted to build a strong community of users. Maybe by 2011, Airbnb, they had achieved significant traction because they saw millions of bookings and a presence in cities around the world. So the platform's unique offering, it allowed the travelers to experience the local. They experienced a good hospitality. So they were able to resonate with the users, and this differentiated Airbnb from traditional accommodation options. Now, with this traction established, Airbnb, they focused on scaling, sixth stage. So they wanted to scale its operations, its business globally. Now, the company raised significant funding from the investors so that they'll be supporting their expansion efforts. They wanted to enter new markets, right? They also diversified their offerings to include a wide range of accommodation options, maybe from apartments to villas and even experiences. Yes, then speaking about the impact, today we all know Airbnb is one of the world's largest online marketplaces, especially for lodging and experiences. There are millions of hosts, guests who are using this platform mainly to connect and to transact, right? The company has transformed the way people travel, right? They're, they have enabled us to explore new destinations. We can connect with the local hosts, and we can just, they're trying to create us the unforgettable experiences. So Airbnb's impact, it extends beyond the travel industry, right? They are trying to contribute to the economic growth. They're also helping for the community development, and we also observe there is cultural exchange worldwide. So the story of Airbnb, it exemplifies the startup journey. They had a humble beginnings. Today they have global impact. See where they were, today where they are, right? They are demonstrating the power of entrepreneurship, mainly to solve the problems, to disrupt the industries, and also to create a meaningful change in the world, right? Yes, this is the importance of startups and being an entrepreneur to solve many problems. Okay. The business model canvas. Okay, can anybody please attempt to answer this? Have you ever come across this concept, the business model canvas? Yes, sir. Dr. Shanti Madam, can you please tell me what is this concept? What is this business model canvas? Dr. Shanti Madam? Are you willing to explain what is this concept? Business model canvas, or anybody else? If you want to just attempt. No, ma'am, you are not audible. Ma'am, can you please unmute Dr. Shanti, madam? She wants to attempt to answer,
No, ma'am, they can answer. I have enabled the microphone for all.
but she is not audible, right?
Yes, ma'am. She is not audible.
Yeah, ma'am, you are not audible.
You're not audible, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
I think there is some speaker issue. Can you just post it in the chat box, ma'am, or else?
Yeah, you can type it in the chat box. Meanwhile, I'll just try to explain this concept. So the business model canvas, it is nothing but a strategic management tool mainly used by the entrepreneurs and the businesses so that they can visually represent and they can also analyze the key components of their business model. So this was developed by two persons, uh, Alexander Osterwalder and Vives Pigner. So why do we need this canvas? Mainly, it provides us a structured framework for understanding how a company creates, how it delivers, and how it captures the value. So, when you look at this image, it consists of 9 building blocks that covers all aspects of a business. And let us discuss one by one. At first, I'll start like this: customer segments. Who are the target customers? Right? Who are your target customers? What are their characteristics? So, what are their needs? That comes under your customer segments. Suppose there is a coffee shop which is targeting busy professionals in our downtown areas. Maybe they need a quick caffeine fix in the morning, right? This is what is needed by their customers. Then, speaking about the value proposition, what value do you offer to your customers? How does your product or your particular service will solve their problems? Or how are you going to satisfy the needs of your customers? Now, for example, there is a smartphone app, maybe that is trying to provide the personalized workout routines, or it even provides nutrition plans. Maybe for the busy working individuals who are looking to improve their health and fitness, this smartphone app is helping them. This is how they are trying to add the value proposition to their customers. Then, speaking about channels, through which channels do you reach your customers? How do you deliver your value proposition? Suppose you have an online fashion, you are an online fashion retailer. You are trying to sell your trendy clothing. Maybe you are trying to sell it through your website or the social media platforms or even partnership with your influencers. This is how you are trying to reach your customers. Okay. Then customer relationships. What type of relationship do you establish with each customer segment? How do you acquire? How do you retain? Or how do you even grow your customer base? Suppose there is a software company which is offering customer support. How do they want to do this? Maybe via email or live chat options they can give, or even a dedicated. So they ensure their users they have a seamless experience with their product. Then speaking about the revenue streams, how do you generate revenue for each customer segment? What pricing mechanisms do you use? Suppose there is a subscription based streaming service. What they'll do, they'll be charging their customers obviously a monthly fees if they want to access to their library, uh, maybe of movies or TV shows. This is how they are trying to generate the revenue. Then, speaking of key resources, listing the essential assets, their capabilities, and resources required to deliver the value proposition. How are you going to operate your business effectively? Suppose you have a manufacturing company. And what are your key resources? You'll be relying on your specialized machinery. You need to have skilled labor, right? And also you need to have raw materials to produce your products. So these are your key resources. Then the key activities. Describing the key tasks, processes, and activities that your business must perform. Mainly, how are you going to create and deliver value to your customers? For example, there is a ride sharing platform. They must be maintaining a fleet of vehicles, right? They must be managing their driver onboarding, or they must also be continuously, they must try to improve their mobile app. Then only they'll be in a position to enhance their user experience. So these all will become the key activities, the tasks, the processes, or the activities, whatever you take up. How are you going to create, or how are you going to deliver the value to your customers, comes under this. Key partnerships. How do you identify the external entities, such as your suppliers, distributors, or say the strategic alliances, who all will be contributing to the success of your business model? Suppose there is a food delivery service. They'll be trying to partner with the local restaurants, something like Zomato, Swiggy, right? They want to expand their menu offerings, and they also want to provide their customers with a wider variety of dining options. So with whom am I going to partner, right? With whom I am going to have a alliance, business alliance. That is important. Then speaking about the cost structure, see, enumerating the costs which are incurred by the businesses to operate, to maintain, and also to support its activities and the revenue streams comes under this. If at all we have a small business which we are operating, primarily if we are operating say online, we will incur with the costs something like website maintenance. We will be having the marketing expenses, or even the inventory storage, right? Okay. So by filling out each block of this business model canvas here, businesses, they can gain a comprehensive understanding about their operations. They can identify the potential areas where I must be improving my business. And they can also develop the strategies for growth as well as for sustainability. Okay. Dr. Shanti ma'am, you have written as this helps any startup to understand their structure and journey. Definitely. Even lean business model is similar to this business model canvas, right ma'am? Thank you so much. So we were speaking about the entrepreneurship development, startups. Now comes the important factor, right? Funding option for my startup. How do I get it? So this can vary depending on many factors, like in which stage your startup is, right? You have invested in which industry, where are you located, and what are the specific needs of your business, so on and so forth. So many factors are there, right? So these are some of the common funding options. Let us discuss one by one. Bootstrapping. uh, can you explain what is this bootstrapping, audience? Anybody?
Ma'am, I'm Shanti here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now you're audible, ma'am. Please tell me.
Yeah, thank you. Bootstrapping is basically their own money, what they have saved, which they will be initially using it for starting of their venture. Am I right, ma'am?
Correct, ma'am. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input. So yeah, as the ma'am rightly said, using your personal savings, your own profits, or any kind of creative methods to finance your startup without the need for external investors. That is the concept of bootstrapping. So with all this, I want to make one thing clear. With all these funding options, we'll be having positives as well as negatives. Okay. So in this bootstrapping, one positive thing is we can retain full control. There is no such kind of debt or dilution. So bootstrap success, it builds your credibility also. But what are the limitations here? You'll be having limited funding, your company might be witnessing slower growth, and sometimes there might be significant personal risk also. So, as ma'am was telling, lean startup methodology, bootstrapping blogs are the resources, right, where you can find the information for this. So, a good example would be the GitHub, GITHUB, MailChimp. So, they went with this bootstrapping. Okay. Friends and family, yeah, we all know how we will be uh, borrowing the money from them. So, or we'll be just trying to raise money from our personal connections. So why they'll be investing? Probably my friend or my family. They believe in me or my idea, and they're just trying to um, fund some money for my startup. So the positive here would be the faster access to capital. You also will get some sort of emotional support, right? And you have potential flexibility on the terms and conditions amongst you and your relatives. But at times, this can also strain your relationships, and there is a potential pressure on you. Sometimes there will be limited pool of funds. This is what the Airbnb, Apple, initially they, excuse me, initially they faced such kind of problems, right? So primarily you can, based on your personal networks, right? They'll, it acts as your resources to fetch some kind of funding to your startups. Then speaking about the angel investors, so they are the wealthy individuals who are trying to invest in the early stage startups, right? Suppose they see that your startup has high growth potential. Maybe in exchange for equity, they are trying to fund you. Uh, Apart from this, you'll also be getting the valuable mentorship from them. You'll also be getting lots of network connections, the expertise, as well as the investment size would be moderate. But the cons, whatever we face here, would be the give up equity. At times, you'll also see there is interference, potential interference from them, from the investors, and almost all the times there'll be expectation from their side for the higher returns. Uber has faced this, Tesla, Google, right? All of them, they have faced this. Then, speaking about venture capital, VC. So, professional firms, they'll be investing large sums. Even if your startups, if they see that there is some kind of high growth, if they sense it, yes, but it is with a significant exit potential, something like acquisition, IPO. So you have access to significant capital, there is industry expertise, and also you can do validation for your business. But the thing is, the negative thing here is the significant equity dilution, and also here you see there is intense pressure to perform. Sometimes there'll also be complex terms and conditions. Okay, the Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, all of them have undergone such kind of processes. So your VC databases, the venture capital database, the industry events, accelerators are your good resources to pull some funding. Then crowdfunding. Anybody knows the concept of crowdfunding?
They create a platform wherein everybody, whoever is interested in investing or contributing for this, even right from 10 rupees onwards, they can contribute a minimal amount to how much ever they wanted to do it, which will be used by the entrepreneur for their investment purpose.
Right, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
So as ma'am rightly said, as an entrepreneur, you will be raising small amounts of capital from a large number of individuals, right? Okay. So you can build your community, you can even pre-sell your product, you can test your market validation. So you'll be obviously having diverse funding sources. But there are also some sort of limitations here under the crowdfunding. You must be in a position to do those time consuming campaigns. There'll be platform fees charged for you, and sometimes there'll be just limited individual contributions. Again, the success of your startup, it is uncertain. Okay, the best example for the crowdfunding is the Crowdcube, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, right? So the resources where you can find this would be the crowdfunding platforms or crowdfunding guides. It will be guiding you. Then speaking about the grants and government programs, usually these grants will be the non-repayable financial assistance what you will be get. So it will be awarded mainly for the specific goals. If the goals of your startup company it is aligned with your government initiatives, definitely they'll be providing you some sort of financial assistance. So there'll be free money and they'll be supporting your innovation, and you'll be having potential public exposure as well. But it is not that easy to have the assistance, to get the assistance from the such sort of government schemes or programs. There'll be competitive application processes, there'll be strict eligibility criteria, and also there'll be terms like where all you can use this particular fund. There is a specific usage criteria as well. Okay, you can find out regarding this through the government websites, the grant databases, as well as you can get some idea from the business advisors also. Corporate partnerships and accelerator programs. Collaborating with the established companies in simple terms. Or you're trying to participate in intensive startup programs, mainly for funding or even for the sake of mentorship or for the resources. So you'll be having access to resources. You can go with the market validation, and also there is potential future acquisition also. The cons, the negativities here would be the potential loss of control, right? And also there might be restrictive terms and conditions, and sometimes you might also have that sort of intense environment. Then the debt financing. We all know about this, borrowing money from banks or lenders, especially with interest, and you'll be repaying the same over time. The positive of this debt financing is you can retain your ownership, right? And there is also a predictable repayment schedule. And obviously, when compared to the equity, it has a potential lower cost also. But cons would be there is potential, sorry, personal liability, and sometimes debt, it can burden or it can hinder the growth of your company. And sometimes there might also be complex financial arrangements, right? Yes, you can go for bank loans, or you can borrow on the lines of credit, or equipment financing also does good. Revenue based financing. So investors, they'll be receiving a percentage of the future revenue until your investment is repaid. Plus, you'll be having the potential interest also. The one good thing here is there is no upfront dilution, and there is alignment with the investors' interests, and there are like a flexible repayment terms also. But the constraints would be high effective interest rates, and many a times there'll be just limited funding amounts, and also there'll be pressure to generate the revenue as quick as possible. Then the initial coin offerings, ICOs and token sales. So selling the digital tokens mainly to raise the capital, often this will be associated with the blockchain based products. So you can have that rapid fundraising potential, you can have access to the crypto markets, community building will also be done. But the thing is, it will be highly regulated. There is a complex technology behind this. The market is very volatile, and you should not fall prey for those potential scams and fraud, right? So, the crypto exchanges, the industry publications, or even the legal and financial advisors, they can help you giving some information about this ICOs and token sales. As we discussed in the initial stages, each of this option, funding option, it has its own characteristics, and suitability, it is based on your specific needs, your situation of your startup, right? So carefully research about this, and also please consult with the proper advisors before you choose a funding approach. What are the positives, what are the negatives, right? After doing research only, please go with any of these options. After funding, building a strong team, it is crucial for the success of entrepreneurship development and startups. Do you think so? Building a team is important. What do you think, participants? building a team important for the startups?
Yes, ma'am, it's very important. I know because you may not be specialized in, various areas which are needed to run a company or to start up. I may be good at technology, but I may not have, a perfect knowledge about finance areas, which is very crucial for running a company. So I can have a person, who has a good knowledge in the finance, and I can have a person who has a good knowledge in marketing area, because that's again very important for startup, right? Like that, even the technology, I might initially maybe investing money, but I may not be well versed in the technology in which my product is coming up. So a person from the technology, finance, and legal advisors. So like that, you can have, a team. Apart from this, even as a partner, when you are registering company, they ask for, nowadays two directors instead of a single person, two people coming up, forming a team and starting. Maybe that will help in easing up the initial, the struggle which normally an entrepreneur faces.
Right, ma'am. Thank you for that elaborated answer.
Thank
Right.
you. Ma'am, one more thing I just wanted to tell you, like this is sorry, like relating to your previous slide, you were showing the funding opportunities, right? Ma'am, I even feel that, the seed fund which are provided by the incubators,
Mhm.
initial, if there's the startups, particularly from the educational, institutions, the faculty startup it could be, or a student startup, their initial funding, which is provided by the incubators, that also helps them in, to start their activities. Can we add that also to this,
Yes, ma'am.
along with
Definitely. There
bootstrapping
are many
friends
other
and
options
family?
also, ma'am. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
As you told, seed funding also, it helps to cover those initial expenses.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
when you're going with your product development, when you're doing your
yes,
market research, or when you're
true,
just trying to hire
true,
those
true.
personnel, especially, yes, when it is in your early stage operational costs, your seed funding will be definitely helping you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank
Correct.
you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. What is the importance of a team composition? See, a well rounded team with diverse skills and expertise, they can bring different perspectives, especially when you're trying to solve a problem or when you're discussing about innovation. And all this will be leading to better decision making as well as for the adaptability. Ma'am also explained the same points. So, each team member should complement the strengths as well as the weaknesses of others, right? Then only you will be able to promote collaboration amongst yourselves. Then only you can bring the concept of synergy within your team. Shared vision. See, team members, they should align with the mission of the company, startup, the vision, as well as the values of the company. Then only you can create a sense of purpose. Then only you can create a sense of commitment. And all this will be driving a collective efforts towards the common goals of your organization. And a cohesive team, it can navigate the challenges or setbacks more effectively when they are able to demonstrate resilience, when they are able to adapt themselves in the face of uncertainty. Culture fit. See, hiring individuals, especially who resonate with the startup's culture and even the ethos, they'll be promoting a sense of belongingness and they try to foster a positive work environment. What are the hiring strategies for our startups? As an entrepreneur, you must be clearly outlining the roles, the responsibilities, as well as the skill sets that is needed for each position. Then only you can ensure there is alignment with the startup's objectives as well as the growth trajectory. Then look for the candidates who demonstrate potential for growth and also a cultural fit within your team, right? You must be prioritizing the qualities such as passion, adaptability, collaborative mindset. Solely just do not consider only those technical skills, right? All other skills are also very, very important. Then tap into personal and professional networks, as well as even you can make use of the employee referrals. Then you can identify the top talents. Sometimes what will happen, you might be having a key talent, but that person may not be actively searching for the opportunities. But you see, that person perfectly aligns with the needs of your startup, right? That's how you leverage your personal networks, professional networks. That is where you make use of the employee referrals to get the best fit inside to in your company. Stay agile in the recruitment process. So be open to the unconventional hiring methods also. What if you have a freelance worker, remote work arrangements? Just as an entrepreneur, right? Be willing to adapt to the team structure because your startup is still evolving, right? But you need to have a very good team, very good positive team. Then assess soft skills and cultural fit. Yeah. So use behavioral interviews, case studies, the culture assessments. Then you can evaluate your candidates' soft skills. What are their values? Are they culturally fit with the team? Right? In addition to the technical competence, you can even ask for the soft skills. How to cultivate a positive company culture? You can lead by example. Try to promote a culture of transparency, integrity, accountability, by embodying these values in your leadership behaviors or even in your decision making processes. Try to create channels for open communication. Try to have that encourage feedback within your team. So you are empowering your employees. They are in a position to voice their ideas. They are able to come up with their concerns, and they are also in a position to give the suggestions freely. And this is what we need. And promote a healthy work-life balance. Try to set realistic expectations. Try to also offer flexible work arrangements. Encourage time off so that you're in a position to prevent the stress or the burnout of your employees. And thereby, you are promoting the employee well-being. Recognize and reward contributions. Why don't you acknowledge and celebrate individual achievements as well as their team achievements? Try to provide some sort of recognition and rewards. Through this, you are trying to reinforce the desired behaviors as well as performance in your employees. Invest in that continuous learning and development. Try to give them learning opportunities for your employees so that they can enhance their skills. They can also grow professionally and they can simultaneously contribute more effectively to the success of your startup. See, while entrepreneurship, it offers potential for innovation, as we already discussed, job creation, personal fulfillment, but it also comes with inherent challenges and risks. So it's very important to be aware of these obstacles before embarking on your entrepreneurial journey. Let us see what are the challenges and the risks for entrepreneurship development and startups. Challenges: lack of awareness and inspiration. Yes. So potential entrepreneurs may not have the access to information. They might not be having any sort of role models, or they even lack that encouragement from even their family or friends, anybody. So they are not in a position to pursue their ventures. Limited access to resources. First and foremost, financing, training, mentorship, infrastructure, all these resources may be scarce. And especially when we are speaking about developing economies, it is very difficult and there will be just limited access to all sorts of resources. Unfavorable regulatory environment. See, overly complex or restrictive regulations, they can definitely hinder the growth of the startup and innovation. And fear of failure can discourage the individuals from taking the entrepreneurial risks itself. Then inefficient educational system. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, our educational systems may not equip the individuals with the skills and the mindset that is needed for them to take up entrepreneurship. Then risks for startups. Financial risks. As I already told you, startups often operate with limited funding and they face challenges in generating the revenue, or they are not suddenly in a position to achieve that profitability. Market risk. There is a high chance of failure due to the competition, changing market trends, or say the lack of product market fit. Operational risk. inefficient processes, or the team conflicts, logistical challenges, all this can be hindering the progress. Technology risk. So dependence on specific technologies, it can definitely lead to challenges. Suppose a particular technology, it has become obsolete or it is unreliable. Now it has put you in risk. Personal risk. See, entrepreneurs, they'll be dedicating their significant time, effort, their personal resources, and they're also exposing themselves to stress, emotional strain, and also to potential financial losses. Right? Yeah. So there are also some strategies to mitigate, to lessen these obstacles. So can somebody tell me what can we do to alleviate these obstacles? How can we lessen these risks and challenges?
First thing is that they can do a market study, which is
Mhm.
very important. And then identify the gap in the market, whether there is going to be a demand for the product, what you are going to offer there in the market, which is very essential. So that if they do it, and after that, if they, decide and then go ahead with the product and then launch it, yeah, the success of sorry, the chances of failure may be, lesser. So that is the initial strategy I feel any startup company should do it. That's the first one. And later, particularly when they are going in for second things, I feel is about where they are raising that is, we can say, the resources, the financial resources. They need to be very cautious from which source they are going to, raise the fund. They shouldn't be, looking at lucrative offering and other thing. They should not go for getting the fund where, the repayment charges and other things will be higher at the later stages. So they have to be very careful relating to, that is, we can say, the finance and also the technology. If you are going for the latest technology, nowadays the technology keeps changes every day. It is a major risk, they take if it is going to be purely technology based, product. Like it could be an app or whatever it is. Today it may be a new thing, but tomorrow it become, tomorrow or in soon it becomes redundant. So they need to, carefully study all these things and then they can venture into it. Right?
Right,
The
ma'am.
simple points. Yeah.
You're right, ma'am. You're very right. Yes, ma'am. Durga Devi, ma'am, you have told human capital management is necessary with reference to the previous slide. Yeah, right, ma'am. Correct. So, I'd like to say a few strategies. How can we try to mitigate these sorts of obstacles? First and foremost, we must be promoting entrepreneurship education and awareness programs. Then, develop incubation and acceleration programs to support the startups. Advocate for those streamlined regulations as well as the access to funding. As I already told you, cultivate a culture that celebrates risk taking, and you must be in a position to learn from your failures and develop the entrepreneurial skills mainly through the educational programs or workshops. As ma'am was mentioning, try to conduct thorough market research and then build a strong business model of yours. You can even assemble a competent and diverse team with the complementary skills. That also helps you. As an entrepreneur, please stay adaptable and just stick on to your strategy whenever needed. Then manage the finances carefully and carefully weigh them before seeking any sort of funding opportunities. Also, try to build a strong support network, and if you are stuck somewhere, try to seek some sort of mentorship. So, by acknowledging the challenges and taking proactive steps to mitigate these risks, you can increase your chances of success as an entrepreneur. For example, the Slack Technologies. So, this is an American software company. So, most of the businesses, organizations, they use it for their internal communication and project management. Initially, they also struggled to gain traction in that crowded market, which was dominated by the established players. How they overcame these challenges through targeted marketing campaigns, product innovation, and they also focused on the user experience to differentiate themselves from their competitors. And one of the most popular messaging apps globally is all our favorite WhatsApp, right? It has billions of users worldwide. They also faced technical challenges, server crashes due to the rapid user growth, and it led to the downtime and reliability issues also. The WhatsApp, it defeated the obstacles. They invested in their infrastructure, optimizing code, and scaling operations mainly to accommodate the increasing demand. Mohana is, ma'am, you have raised your hand. Do you have a doubt? Do you want to say something? Mohana is, ma'am? Okay. What are the future trends in entrepreneurship development and startups? I'll just wind it up in another 5 minutes. See, the world of entrepreneurship, as we all know, it is constantly evolving, and definitely it is driven by technological advancements. And we also have shifting societal needs, changing economic landscapes. So, here are some key trends. They are likely to shape the future of entrepreneurship development and startups. Technology driven opportunities. Under that, we have AI powered tools. So, artificial intelligence powered tools, they will continue to streamline the operations. They will personalize the experiences of our customers. And also, it drives innovation in various sectors. And startups which are offering AI powered solutions, especially in healthcare, finance, sustainability, they are predicted to flourish. Blockchain technology, it will enable the secure and transparent transactions, boosting trust, efficiency in areas, especially like supply chain management, voting systems, digital identity. So, startups leveraging blockchain for financial inclusion, data security, traceability, all these will gain traction. IoT, Internet of Things. See, as more devices become interconnected, now the potential for data driven insights and intelligent solutions will explode. Startups developing IoT applications, maybe for smart cities, even for wearables, connected homes, they will be witnessing the promising opportunities. Emerging markets and inclusive entrepreneurship, global growth. So, entrepreneurship will increasingly transcend the geographical boundaries. So, we have emerging markets like Africa, Southeast Asia, they'll be attracting investment and fostering the local innovation ecosystems. Diversity and inclusion. See, promoting entrepreneurship, especially among women, minorities, or even the marginalized communities, it will be crucial for our economic development as well as for making a strong social impact. Initiatives which are focused on providing resources, or say even fostering the inclusive support networks, it will be gaining the momentum. Impact investing. Investors will increasingly seek to support startups which will be addressing the social and environmental challenges alongside the financial returns. So, impact investing in clean energy, in the sector of education, sustainable agriculture, all these will become more and more prevalent. Shifting business models and work ecosystem. So, subscription based models, they will continue to gain popularity, offering the recurring revenue systems, and it will be also fostering the customer loyalty. And startups which are providing subscription services in various sectors like media, especially software, education, all these will see growth. Remote work and distributed teams. See, the rise of remote work, it will create opportunities, say, for geographically dispersed teams and also the location independent businesses. So, startups which are offering tools and solutions, say, for remote collaboration and even for the virtual workplaces, all this will definitely, they will be in demand. And automation and upskilling. See, while automation, it may displace some jobs, but also it will create some new opportunities as well. Startups which are helping businesses and individuals adapt to automation, maybe through upskilling, reskilling, or say even talent management solutions, they will definitely play a crucial role. Yeah. In conclusion, I would like to say entrepreneurship, it stands as a beacon of innovation and economic vitality. And this is fueled by passion and resilience of individuals, especially who are willing to take risks and also to pursue their dreams. Today, we have explored the essential elements of entrepreneurial development and startup success. See, as aspiring entrepreneurs, the path ahead may be challenging for you, but please remember it is also filled with opportunities for creativity to make impact as well as for your it adds to your personal growth. So I urge you to embrace your entrepreneurial spirit, connect with your fellow innovators, and also embark on this transformative journey. Together, we all can shape a future driven which, by resourcefulness, perseverance, as well as a positive change. Yeah. Before we wrap up, I want to open the floor for any final questions, comments, or insights from your side. Definitely, your input is valuable, and I'm here to address any remaining doubts or thoughts that you may have.